Good evening. Good evening, friends. How are you? Welcome back, guys. Hope your studies are going fine. Not only fine, but pretty fine. So, just take some trouble to drop some mails. How are your preparations going of auditing and also of other subjects? So, let us have an idea. So, guys, yesterday you had started the chapter of audit report and you had understood some of the terms, concepts appearing in the which would appear in this chapter, that is audit report. So audit report, you can understand, guys, is the final outcome of the work performed by the auditor. Now the auditor has collected all the audit evidence by performing audit procedures, and he has interacted with management, he has sought the information. Now finally, when he has collected the evidence, he has to issue his audit report. Now the audit report which he has to issue, it has to be in written form, so it has many contents, and the auditor finally expresses his opinion on the financial statements through the medium of audit report. It is only through the medium of audit report that members of the company or other stakeholders come to know what is the opinion of the auditor on the state of affairs of the company, whether these financial statements audited by the auditor reflect true and fair view of the state of affairs of the profit of the company or not. It might so happen, you have understood, guys, yesterday, that it might so happen that auditor does not give an unmodified opinion also. If he feels on the basis of audit evidence which he has collected that there are material misstatements in financial statements, then he is free to modify his opinion. So you have yesterday also studied about three types of modified opinion, which are qualified opinion, adverse opinion, and disclaimer of opinion. Guys, kindly understand these three terms very, very clearly. What is the difference between qualified opinion, adverse opinion, and disclaimer of opinion? I hope that you have understood very clearly the nature and meaning of these three different types of modified audit opinion. Or should I refreshen you up? Please let me know, guys, all these three things, modified opinion, types of modified opinion, are clear to you so that we can start further. Please let me know, guys. Please let me know whether these three types of modified opinion, qualified opinion, adverse opinion, and disclaimer of opinion is clear to you. Because you see, guys, you understand that this whole chapter of audit report is built upon the foundation that how the auditor has to express his opinion, in what circumstances he has to express his modified opinion or unmodified opinion. So if you are not clear about these terms, it is going to trouble you. So if you are clear, we can start further. So please let me know, guys, no mails till now, whether all these three things, three types of modified opinion is clear to you. In what circumstances auditor has to give a qualified opinion, what is the meaning of adverse opinion, and in what circumstances the auditor has to give disclaimer of opinion, and what is the difference between all these three terms all these three types of modified opinion. Is the same clear to you? Still waiting for your responses, guys. Please let me know. Okay, students, we shall quickly recapitulate the meaning of qualified opinion, adverse opinion, and disclaimer of opinion. So, students, say on the basis of audit evidence which the auditor has obtained, if he is the opinion that financial statements contain material misstatements and financial statements are not free from material misstatements, then in that case he has to issue a qualified opinion. But these material misstatements have not to be pervasive. These have not to be pervasive. Meaning of pervasive you have already learned yesterday. Pervasive means pervading a thing which is some part of which is present everywhere. Okay, so or the effect of which is going to affect many accounts or many elements, many segments of financial statements. So you understand what is the meaning of pervasive. So if the material misstatements in financial statements are such that these are restricted to one area, to one segment or one few accounts, and these do not distort the whole picture of financial statements, and these are not pervasive, then in those circumstances the auditor can issue a qualified opinion. You have to understand that qualified opinion is also a form of modified opinion. Okay, qualified opinion, adverse opinion, and disclaimer of opinion, all these are three forms of modified opinion. And another possibility is that auditor is unable to collect audit evidence, but in his opinion he feels, he is of the opinion that although he has not been able to collect audit evidence properly, but effect of some uncorrected material misstatements would be material and not pervasive. In that circumstances also he would be issuing a qualified opinion. Okay, so this whole concept of opinion, for expressing an opinion, is based upon two things. One is whether there are material misstatements in the financial statements, whether material misstatements are present in the financial statements, and whether it is attributable to the inability of the auditor to collect audit evidence. Okay, so if the material misstatements are present in the financial statements but these are not pervasive, then auditor can issue a qualified opinion. Similarly, if the auditor is not able to collect sufficient appropriate audit evidence, but he is of the opinion that effect of such uncorrected misstatements would be not pervasive, would only be material but not pervasive, it would not distort the whole picture, then he has to issue a qualified opinion. Okay, and what is adverse opinion? Now adverse opinion is just opposite of this. Say if the auditor finds material misstatements in financial statements and he finds them to be pervasive, he finds that these would distort the whole state of affairs, whole picture of financial statements, then he would be issuing an adverse opinion. He would be issuing a categoric adverse opinion that financial statements are not reflecting true and fair view. Okay. Similarly, if he is unable to collect audit evidence and he finds that effect of these uncorrected material misstatements would not only be material but would also be pervasive, then in that case also he has to issue an adverse opinion. So you understand, guys, the difference between qualified opinion and adverse opinion. Difference is basically of pervasiveness of the effect of uncorrected material misstatements. Okay, so you understand this, guys? Is that clear to you? You have already done it yesterday. And what is disclaimer of opinion? And what is disclaimer of opinion? Now, disclaimer of opinion, the auditor has to give in those circumstances where he finds that he has not been able to collect sufficient appropriate evidence to state whether there are material misstatements in financial statements or not, but he is of the opinion that due to interplay of all the possible effects of material misstatements, their effect would not only be material but would also be pervasive. So in those circumstances, he would issue a disclaimer. He would say that I am not able to express any opinion. What is disclaimer? Disclaimer means I disclaim to give an opinion, that it is due to such complex uncertainties surrounding the effects of possible material misstatements that I am not able to give any opinion. So I disclaim my opinion. Okay. So you understand the difference between all these three kinds of modified opinion, that is qualified opinion, adverse opinion, and disclaimer of opinion. You have already done it yesterday in fair detail, and we are just recapitulating it. Okay. Okay, guys. So it is clear to you. Now, guys, and one more thing, these different three types of modified opinion are dealt in with SA 705. You have to remember, guys, that SA 705 deals with modification of opinion in an independent auditor's report. So SA 0705 deals with these three types of modified opinion and in what circumstances the auditor has to give which type of opinion. Which type of opinion is appropriate in what kind of circumstances, that is dealt within SA 705. Okay. So guys, today we will be doing SA 706 and SA 701. Again, I am repeating it. Today we will be doing SA 706 and SA 701. Now, what is SA 706? SA 706 is emphasis of matter paragraph and other matter paragraphs in audit report. And SA 701 relates to key audit matters. Guys, these three terms and these three terms, these are very, very important. Not only practically, but academically also. And this whole chapter of audit report is built upon all these things. Okay. So today we will be doing essay 706, emphasis of matter paragraph and other matter paragraph. Guys, it is at point 6. It is at point number 6, page 11.40 of your module. Page 11.40 of your module, point number 6. So we would be doing from here. So first we will understand what do these terms denote generally. What is the meaning of these terms which we are going to study? We will first we will understand all these three terms, and then we will be doing it from module. Okay. So first we will try to understand what is the meaning of emphasis of matter paragraph, what is the meaning of other matter paragraph, and what are key audit matters. What are key audit matters? KAM in short. It is known as KAM in short. So essay 701 deals with key audit matters and essay 706 deals with emphasis of matter paragraph and other matter paragraphs. Okay, guys. So essay 706 deals with two things. Number one, it is emphasis of matter paragraph. And other matter paragraph. Now students, what is emphasis of matter paragraph? Say, you would say the auditor he is giving his opinion in the audit report in the opinion section. Okay. So, but simultaneously there are some issues which he wants to emphasize. He wants it to bring, he wants these issues to bring to the knowledge of users of the financial statements, because in his point of view, these issues were important, were very significant. So these issues are highlighted by the auditor in audit report in emphasis of matter paragraph. So what does the auditor do? He gives a heading in the audit report, emphasis of matter paragraph, and he discusses those issues which in his opinion would are fundamental to the understanding of the users of financial statements. Now, whether he can emphasize any issue here. Now, next logical question that would arise in your mind, students, is that whether he can state any issue he wants to highlight here. No, it is not so. He can emphasize only those issues in emphasis of matter paragraph which are already presented and disclosed in financial statements. Now, say there is some issue, some information which is already there in financial statements prepared by the management, which have been audited by the auditor. But despite these issues being already present there, auditor still wants to emphasize these issues so that users of the financial statements can better understand the financial statements. It enhances the value of financial statements. Because otherwise they might skip those issues while reading the financial statements. However, when these issues are emphasized by the auditor, these you can say highlighted by the auditor in his audit report itself under a broad heading, emphasis of matter paragraph, then users of the financial statements would definitely look at these issues. So the condition is that auditor can emphasize only those issues which are already presented and disclosed in financial statements. Say, let us give an example. Say, guys, a fire occurred in the plant of the factory during the year of which audit was conducted. So the effect of this fire, what was the loss, whether any claim was received, this has already been disclosed in the accounts and also in the notes to the accounts. Okay, so you would say, then why the auditor is again disclosing this? Is now notes to the accounts, these have been prepared by the management, these have been presented and disclosed by the management, but now the auditor also emphasizes these issues in emphasis of matter paragraph. Say the auditor would write, we draw your attention to note number so and so, note number 5, which states the effects of fire in the plant of the company on so and so date, and its losses etc. have been quantified. He can write so on. So in this way, he has emphasized some issue which gets highlighted to the users of financial statements. Okay, so you understand the general meaning. What do we mean by emphasis of matter paragraph? We will study it in quite detail from your module, but the basic understanding, you understand what is the meaning of emphasis of matter paragraph, what is the basic nature of emphasis of matter paragraph, what is the use, what is its utility. Okay guys, you understand it? Please let me know. So you understand, students, broad meaning of emphasis of matter paragraph. Now we come to other matter paragraphs. Now what is other matter paragraph? What is other matter paragraph? Now we have understood, guys, that emphasis of matter paragraph, it relates to issues which have already been disclosed and presented in the financial statements. However, there might be some issues which have not been disclosed in financial statements. Now, still the auditor wants to highlight it. So what is the way available to him? So he can highlight those issues in other matter paragraph. So these issues highlighted in other matter paragraph, these may relate to audit or auditor's responsibilities or audit report, so that users of the financial statements get a know of what were the issues in audit or in relation to auditor responsibility. Like say we studied with the help of an example. Say if the audit of the financial year has been conducted for the first time by this auditor, then he can highlight this fact by stating in other matter paragraph that financial statements of last year were audited by Mr. So and so, and he had expressed unmodified opinion or whatever in respect of those financial statements. So he is giving that information to the stakeholders in ready readable form that he was not auditor of the company for the preceding year, and accounts of the preceding year were audited by some other firm of chartered accountants. Okay, so what is the difference between emphasis of matter paragraph and other matter paragraph? Now, emphasis of matter paragraph relates to issues which are already present and disclosed in financial statements and which increase the user's understanding of financial statements. Now, whereas in other matter paragraph, it relates those matters, it relates those issues which are not present or disclosed in financial statements, but still the auditor wants to draw attention of users of financial statements to those issues, and these may relate to auditor's responsibilities and audit report. Okay, so I have also given you two examples to distinguish between what could be the matters in emphasis of matter paragraph and what could be the matters in other matter paragraph. So guys, please let me know both these things are clear to you. We would be studying it in greater detail from your module. There are other aspects to these two terms also. So just now we have only understood the meaning and nature of these terms and how these are distinguished from one another. Okay, so the difference to you is clear. What is the difference between emphasis of matter paragraph and other matters paragraph? Please let me know, guys. I think some queries are also being received from some other class. I would ask the students to send queries to correct ID. Okay. So, and one more term, guys, which is dealt with in essay 701. It is key audit matters. It is also very important. Key audit matters. Now you would say we have just done emphasis of matter paragraph and other matter paragraph. Now what is key audit matters? Now key audit matters, guys, key audit matters are also matters which in the professional judgment of the auditor are very significant, and these have been communicated with the management, with those charged with the governance during the course of audit, and the auditor wants that these matters should be known to the users of financial statements, that how these were, how the auditor had communicated these matters, what were the issues, and how the auditor had addressed those issues. Okay, so these matters are known as key audit matters. So one important thing relating to key audit matters is that these are always selected from the matters which have been communicated with those charged with the governance. Only from those matters which the auditor has communicated with those charged with governance, uh, key audit matters are selected, and these relate only to current period of audit. These only relate to current period of audit. Now let us understand it with the help of an example. Key audit matters. So say, guys, during COVID time, the auditors could not visit many places, many branches of the large companies, many facilities of the of large companies. So the auditors may have highlighted this fact as a key audit matter, that we could not visit all the premises of the company due to restrictions imposed by the local authorities due to pandemic, and so our audit procedures were modified to that extent. We obtained information through video conferencing. We could not contact the personnel by meeting with them. So all our correspondence took place through electronic medium. So the auditors might have highlighted such an issue as a key audit matter, because you understand, guys, it meets the basic criteria that only those matters become key audit matters which, in the opinion of auditor, are very significant from among those matters which were communicated with those charged with governance during the course of audit. And these matters relate to current period only, to which the audit relates. Okay, so guys, you understand the difference between emphasis of matter para, other matter para, and key audit matters. Now the purpose of all these things is to highlight some issues, but there is difference between all these three terms. Now you have to remember and mark the distinctive points between these three terms. What is the distinguishing point of the emphasis of matter paragraph as compared to other matter paragraph, and what is the difference between emphasis of matter paragraph and key audit matters, so on. Okay. I am still receiving mails of some other class students. Garvit Rai, Bikram Dulal, these are not students of this class. Still mails are coming. I would ask the tech to check it up. Why the mails are coming? Now Surbi is asking, please repeat key audit matters. Now Surbi, key audit matters means those matters, those issues which in the professional judgment of auditor were very significant during the course of audit. And these issues were communicated with the management, with those charged in governance. It is an essential condition to highlight an issue as a key audit matter. Only those issues can be highlighted as key audit matters which were communicated with those charged with governance, and these must relate to current period. Like I had given you example of COVID-19. Say the auditors in some of the companies may have highlighted this as a key audit matter, that we had to modify our audit procedures due to pandemic outbreak, so that users could know, users could understand that such and such procedures were modified, and the auditor communicated with the management, and a way out was made by which the auditor obtained the information through electronic medium, or through or inquiries through video conferencing, when it was not possible to have a face-to-face meeting personally. So VC was adopted as a means of communication. Okay, so highlighting key audit matters adds to the communicative value of the audit report. It better communicates certain issues which the auditor wants to state, and the users of the financial statements also get to know that not only the auditor addressed those issues, those important issues, by communicating with the management, but he is also describing how those issues were addressed, what were the concerns, and how the auditor was able to address those issues. So, Surbhi, is it clear to you? Please let me know. So, guys, now you understand the basic difference between emphasis of matter para, other matter para, and key audit matters. Now we will study it in greater detail from your module of different aspects, different conditions of emphasis of matter para, other matter paragraph, and key audit matters in accordance with essay 705, 706 relating to these 2 points, and essay 701 relating to communication of key audit matters. Okay. So guys, you are able to see the screen. Is the screen visible to you? Please let me know. Is the screen visible to you? Now we are here. Emphasis of matter paragraphs and other matter paragraphs in independent auditor's report. Now essay 706 deals with it. Now what does essay 706 state? It states draw users' attention to a matter presented or disclosed in financial statements that are such importance they are fundamental to users' understanding of financial statements. Okay, so the auditor tries to draw users' attention to matters which are already presented or disclosed. Now it is very important. Already presented or disclosed in financial statements. Because guys, we had already read that emphasis of matter paragraph relates to those issues which are already presented or disclosed in the financial statements. Okay. And whereas this is other matter paragraphs. Draw users' attention to any matters other than those. Now this is very important. Other than those presented or disclosed in financial statements. Now emphasis of matter paragraph related to the matters already disclosed, whereas other matter paragraph relates to matters not disclosed in the financial statements. Okay, that are relevant to users' understanding of the audit, auditor's responsibility, or the auditor's report. Okay. Now, first it deals with what is the objective of auditor as per SA 706. It states that again the same objective. This pertains to emphasis of matter paragraph, and this pertains to other matter paragraph. A matter, although appropriately presented or disclosed, there is some matter which is already presented or disclosed in the financial statements. Very important. And it is of such importance that it is fundamental to users' understanding of financial statements. This relates to emphasis of matter paragraph, and other matter paragraph which is not disclosed in the financial statement and relevant to users' understanding of auditor's responsibility, audit, or auditor's report. So we had taken the example of fire in the plant of the company. Now it has already been disclosed. Its effects are already been disclosed in the financial statements. So it is but still the auditor wants to draw attention of users of financial statements to this. So it is an emphasis of matter paragraph. Okay. So other matter paragraph, I had given you the example that audit of the preceding year was conducted by somebody else. So those issues which are not disclosed in financial statements, but still the auditor wants to highlight it so that users can better understand the audit or auditor's responsibilities. So these fall in the example of other matter paragraph. Okay. Now it again gives definition of emphasis of matter paragraph. What are the key points? Emphasis of matter paragraph is a paragraph included in auditor's report. It refers to a matter appropriately presented or disclosed in the financial statements. This we are doing many times, and which is of such importance that it is fundamental to users' understanding of financial statements. So all these three conditions should be there to be to enable a matter to be classified as emphasis of matter paragraph. Okay, guys, you are able to You are able to view the screen? Is everything clear? Please drop your mails. Please drop your mails. The screen is visible to you guys. And now we come to definition of other matter paragraph. Now, what is other matter paragraph? Now, again, other matter paragraph is also included in auditor's report. Now, it refers to a matter which is not already present, not present in financial statements, not present oblique disclosed in financial statements. See, those matters which are already presented and disclosed in financial statements, but the auditor still wants to highlight, this can be done in emphasis of matter paragraph. But certain issues which are not disclosed, but these relate to audit or auditor's responsibilities or auditor's report, these can be highlighted in other matter paragraphs. So the auditor's judgment is relevant to users' understanding of audit, auditor's responsibility, or the auditor's report. Say, guys, we had taken an example of that auditor is highlighting this issue that audit of somebody of preceding year was conducted by another firm of chartered accountants, and he gave his unmodified opinion. So the auditor is somehow explaining the boundaries of his responsibilities. Okay. Okay. Now, another two important conditions are there, guys. These are also very important. Say, students, you have to understand if there is some issue in respect of which modification of opinion is required, in which, say, certain material misstatements are there in financial statements which warrant, which require that the auditor should modify his opinion, that then in that case the auditor has to modify his opinion. He cannot shrink his responsibility by simply highlighting it in emphasis of matter paragraph. He cannot absolve himself, but that I have already highlighted the issue in emphasis of matter paragraph, because if it is a material misstatement, then he has to modify his opinion. He has to give qualified adverse or disclaimer. Okay, only when modification is not required, he can highlight those issues in emphasis of matter paragraph. Okay, and those issues should also be not a key audit matter. SA 701 should not apply. It shall not be a key audit matter. Okay, if some issue has been identified as key audit matter, then it would be reflected under key audit matters, and it has not to be included in emphasis of matter paragraph. So you have to understand, in those circumstances where modification of opinion is required, the auditor has to modify his opinion. He cannot absolve himself. He cannot get away from his responsibility by simply saying that he has highlighted this matter in emphasis of matter paragraph. So these are two exceptions. Okay, that only those things would fall in emphasis of matter paragraph in respect of which modification of opinion is not required and which are not key audit matters. Okay, so is that clear? Students, please let me know, is that clear? And now we come to separate section for emphasis. Now I had already told you that when auditor highlights something as emphasis of matter paragraph, then he gives it in the audit report under a heading emphasis of matter. Okay, and in that para he clearly describes matter, and he has also to state that where this matter can be found in financial statements. Now you remember we again the example of fire in the plant of the company. So the fact was already disclosed in the financial statements of the company. So the auditor would refer to so and so, no, say note number 15 of financial statements, which states that fire had occurred in the production facilities of the company on so and so date, and the company suffered loss of so and so amount and all that things. So he has to make a reference to where this emphasis of matter issue is stated in the financial statements or in the notes to the financial statements, so that users can correlate auditors point of view with what has been stated in the financial statements. Okay, and he has also to state that his opinion is not modified. We have already studied that if there is some issue in respect of which modification of opinion is required, then auditor cannot get away from his responsibility just by highlighting that thing in emphasis of matter paragraph. Okay, okay, students, is that clear to you? Now Surbi is asking if modification is required, where it is to be shown. Surbi, when we will be studying the structure of audit report, we will also be understanding how opinion is to be given and where it is to be given. The opinion is given under the opinion section. There is a broad heading in the audit report where the auditor gives his opinion. Okay. So Surbi, is it clear to you? Now, there are certain example given. What could be the emphasis? What are the examples of issues which can be categorized as emphasis of matter paragraph? Now the module has given these examples of circumstances where the auditor may consider it necessary to include an emphasis of matter paragraph. Okay. So this example we had already done. A major catastrophe, say fire or some natural calamity. Okay. An uncertainty relating to the future outcome of litigation. Say there is some pending case against the company in which some liability might be there. So there is an uncertainty. So the auditor might want to highlight this matter as emphasis of matter paragraph. He might want to highlight this issue for any event which has occurred between the balance sheet date and the date of auditor's report. Okay. Subsequent event, date of financial statements and date of auditor's report, a significant event. But again, you have to remember, this should have already been disclosed in financial statements. By way of notes to accounts, it must have been already disclosed in the financial statements. Only then it can be categorized as emphasis of matter paragraph. Okay, guys, is that clear to you? Is that clear? Students, please let me know emphasis of matter paragraph is clear to you. And one more thing, these three things, these are very important. That emphasis of matter paragraph is not a substitute where modification of opinion is required. We have already done. Okay. And it is also not a substitute for disclosures in financial statements which the management is required to make. Say the management has to prepare the financial statements in accordance with applicable financial reporting framework, and all information has to be disclosed as per FRF. So this is the responsibility of the management to disclose all the information. Merely because the auditor has highlighted this matter in emphasis of matter paragraph, it is not a substitute. The management has to do his duty. Okay. Or when there is a material uncertainty whether the concern would continue as a going concern in accordance with SA 570, then also it has to be separately reported. Emphasis of matter paragraph is not a substitute for these three type of situations. Okay, so now Surbi is asking future outcome of exceptional litigation or regulatory action. What does this mean? Now Surbi, future outcome means there is some legal case going against the company and the future of which is not uncertain, is uncertain. What would be its outcome? Whether there would be impact on the cash flows of the company. So the auditor, and this matter has already been highlighted by the management in notes to accounts, or there is a say some regulatory action by regulators. Regulators, you understand? The regulators are government authorities who control that sector, who are responsible for overseeing activities in that sector. Like in case of telecom companies, there is TRAI. Okay, in case of banks, it is RBI. So if there is action by regulator and its impact is uncertain, it is not known, and this point has already been highlighted in the notes to accounts, then auditor can also emphasize it in emphasis of matter paragraph. So Sorbi, is it clear to you? Please let me know. Yes, Pooja, you are asking if SA 706 applies when SA 705 and 701 not applies. Yes, say if some matter is key audit matter, then it has to be reported as such as key audit matter. It cannot be highlighted as emphasis of matter paragraph, because we have already understood how that SA 706 already states that matter should not be a key audit matter, or where the modification of opinion is required in accordance with SA 705, then auditor has to modify his opinion. He cannot simply get away with just highlighting it in emphasis of matter paragraph. Okay. Now there is an example. Now what is the example? Now let us see, and first we'll see its solution later. Now here is a company engaged in manufacturing of candles. Okay, CA Mr. So and so is statutory auditor of the company. There was a fire in the company's factory, as a result of which some of company's machinery was destroyed. The same was disclosed in the notes to accounts. Okay, so what is the matter? the matter is already disclosed in the financial statements. Now, where it is disclosed? It is disclosed in notes to accounts. Okay. So CA Kamal decided to communicate this matter in auditor's report. He thinks that this matter is very important. So what should be done here? It is a emphasis of matter paragraph. He should report this matter in emphasis of matter paragraph because the matter is already disclosed and presented in financial statements, but still the auditor wants to highlight it to better to increase the user's fundamental understanding of financial statements. So what he would write? He would write that we draw attention to note number so and so in the notes to accounts where it is stated that fire had occurred and what are its effect. All this information he would state in this emphasis of matter paragraph. Okay. So how he would write? He would write, would draw attention to note Y of financial statements. Say it is an example which describes the effects of fire in company's factory and our opinion is not modified. Say if the company had not disclosed the information correctly, then auditor would have to modify his opinion. It is only he has not modified his opinion that this matter is falling under the emphasis of matter paragraph. So guys, we have done emphasis of matter paragraph in fairly detailed manner. I think there should not be any doubts in your mind what matters are to be included in emphasis of matter paragraph. Please let me know so that we can move on to other matter paragraph. Please let me know. Now Surbhi is asking, there are so many things in the financial statements which are material in nature. So how do we, she is asking, how do we come to know that what is to be stated in financial? Surbhi, these things come with experience. These things come with practical experience. Now when the auditor gains practical experience, he knows, he understands the financial statements like the back of his palm of his hand, and he knows what are the material things, what are the material issues which are affecting the state of affairs of the company or which are impacting the profit or loss of the company. So obviously these are matter of professional expertise and these come with experience and knowledge. Okay. Surbhi, is it clear to you? Any doubts of other students on this emphasis of matter paragraph? Any other doubts? Yes, Pooja, you have understood it clearly. Say if on some issue modification of opinion is required, then it is obvious that auditor has to modify his opinion. It would not be included in emphasis of matter para. Is that clear? So now we move on to other matter paragraphs. Now what is other matter paragraphs? So we had understood that there might be some issues in the financial statements which are not presented or disclosed, but still the auditor wants to communicate those issues. So these issues can be communicated by the auditor here in other matter paragraph. Okay. So these issues might relate to audit, auditor's responsibility or audit report. Okay. So what does your module state? If the auditor considers it necessary to communicate a matter other than those, this is very important, other than those that are presented or disclosed in the financial statements. So this is the key difference between emphasis of matter paragraph and other matter paragraph. Okay. And these issues are fundamental to users' understanding of either the audit or the auditor's responsibilities or auditor's report. The auditor shall include such matters in other matter paragraph, provided what? Provided there are some conditions. Again, what are those conditions? Again, it should not be a matter which should be a key audit matter, and it should not be prohibited by law or regulation. So there are two conditions. The matter should not be a key audit matter where SA 701 applies, and it is not prohibited by, it means that communication of such matter is not prohibited by some law or rules, by some law or government rules. Communication of such matter, highlighting of such matter is not barred, is not prohibited. Okay. So except these two conditions, the auditor can report some issues in other matter paragraphs which have not been presented or disclosed in financial statements. Okay. Now Surbi is asking whether in exam we have also to write like illustration 14. Yes, Surbi, depends upon the nature of the question or the nature of the problem. Basically, what I am trying to say is you understand the concept. You do not uh, create a fear psychosis in your mind regarding questions. Questions are not that difficult. The point is when you do the whole syllabus, all these concepts get intermingled. These get connected because there are common points in many concepts. So our mind sometimes forget which point applies where. So that is why I have been stressing that you have to make clear distinctions in your minds. That fundamental difference between different terms, between different points, this has always been, this always has to be kept in your mind. Like, say, if you understand this basic point that emphasis of matter and other matter paragraph, in the first point, this relates to matters which are already disclosed and presented in financial statements, and other matter paragraph is reports those matters which are not disclosed. So the first hurdle, the first step you cross very easily, and then you can answer easily. Okay. The point is when you do the syllabus, you get confused between different points because syllabus is so huge and there are many topics that we lose track. We lose track of the chain of topics. So you have to make a chain of topics in your mind. Okay, you have to create an image. So this can be created by continuously remembering and hammering into your mind the different points and distinctive points. Okay. Now Pooja is asking why SA 705 is not in other matter paragraph. Because Pooja, other matter paragraph pertains to those information which are not disclosed in the financial statements. So the information which is not disclosed in the financial statements, how modification of the opinion can be there about that issue. So it is just only about highlighting some important issue which is not a key audit matter and which is not a barred by law or regulation. Okay. Now again, when the auditor includes an other matter paragraph in the auditor's report, the same shall be given under a separate heading, other matter paragraph, so that users can know that what is content of this para. Okay, what type of content is there in the para? Communication with those charged with governance. So this is also important that before the auditor includes some matter as emphasis of matter paragraph or other matter paragraph, then he has to communicate the same with management, with those charged with governance, that we are showing this as emphasis of matter paragraph and other matter paragraph, and this is going to be the precise wording. Okay, so why this communication is necessary? Because when the auditor communicates with those charged with governance, some issues might be highlighted, different perspectives might be obtained. So if there is some say deficiency in the wording, those insights of the management can also be taken care of. Okay. So we have done these two topics, subtopics, emphasis of matter para and other matter para. Now these are contained in SA 706. These are contained in SA 706. Okay. Now we would be doing key audit matters. We have got a basic idea of what are key audit matters. Now we will be doing key audit matters in greater detail in accordance with what is prescribed under SA 701. Under SA 701. Okay. Now, what does SA 701? SA 701 deals with auditor's responsibility to communicate key audit matters in auditor's report. Okay, now what is first the definition of key audit matter? What are the key audit matters? These are very important, guys. This key audit matter concept is very, very important. Many times questions are coming in your exams on key audit matter. Key audit matters are those matters that in the auditor's professional judgment were of most significance in the audit of financial statements of current period. Now that is very important. Key audit matters can only relate to matters which relate to the current period. Okay. And second ingredient is that key audit matters are those matters are selected from matters communicated with those charged with governance. It means that auditor has communicated the audit while conducting audit. The auditor identified certain issues and certain significant issues, very important issues, which in the auditors in his professional judgment were most significant. And one more thing you have to understand, that key audit matters, there is no restriction on the number of key audit matters. It could be 1, 2, 3, 5, 7, whatever the auditor wants, whatever the auditor opines that these were significant matters during the course of his audit, and these were communicated with those charged with the governance, then he can communicate in the audit report these matters as key audit matters. So the two conditions are, the key audit matters always relate to current period. These are very significant matters, and these are selected from those matters which are communicated with those charged with the governance. There must be communication with those charged with the governance. That, like we had discussed the example of issue of COVID-19. So the auditors could not visit all the branches or all the facilities of the company due to pandemic. So obviously they were communicating with management. They were obtaining information through VC or through other electronic mediums. Okay, or the books were provided to them in certain online mode. Okay, so the general audit procedures were modified. So the auditors might highlight, or some companies might have highlighted this matter as a key audit matter. Okay. Another example we could take, say if there is a company which has large IT infrastructure. So the reliability of the financial information is very much dependent on this large IT infrastructure. So the auditor might have communicated various aspects, various issues relating to this IT infrastructure in course of audit, so as to ensure that accounting information is accurate and reliable. So the auditor may highlight this matter as key audit matter. Okay, and he might highlight that we have relied upon IT infrastructure of the company, and such issues were raised by us, and these were addressed in this manner. Such type of audit procedures were performed by us to obtain sufficient appropriate audit evidence. So I am trying to give you some examples of key audit matters. Okay, guys, is that clear? Yes, Pooja. It is essential condition to be classified as key audit matter that it must be communicated. It must have been communicated with the management, with those charged with the governance. Okay, because you can see here, key audit matters are selected from matters communicated with those charged with governance. Okay, now what is the purpose? Now that is very important. What is the purpose of communicating key audit matters? Now, communicating key audit matters as per SA 701. As per SA 701, the purpose of communicating key audit matter is to increase the communicative value of auditor's report by providing greater transparency about the audit that was performed. Say, during the course of audit, the auditor raised some issues and management replied to those issues. And when the auditor is highlighting those issues as key audit matters, so it adds to the value of the report. It adds to the communicative value of the report. It assures the users that auditor raised those issues, management replied to those issues, and the auditor performed certain audit procedures to address his concerns. So it enhances the confidence of users in the financial statements. Okay. Another point is communicating key audit matters provides additional information to intended users of financial statements to assist them in understanding those matters which in auditor's professional judgment were of very important, which are very significant. And one more important point is that by highlighting those key audit matters, the users can better understand the entity. Say, I am taking the example of the large IT infrastructure in the company. Okay, so when the auditor is highlighting that matter as a key audit matter, the user also knows. The user also gets to know how the company is functioning. Okay, he gets a broad idea, he gets a fair idea how the company is functioning, that it is highly dependent upon IT infrastructure. So he gets to know the risks or advantages or merits or demerits. Okay, so is that clear? Now we come to objective of auditor regarding key audit matters. As per SA 701, objective of the auditor are to determine key audit matters and having formed an opinion on financial statements, communicate those matters. He has to identify those matters if he thinks it is necessary. In listed companies, it is mandatory. Okay, so determining key audit matters. The auditor shall determine from the matters communicated with those charged with governance those matters that required significant auditor attention in performing auditor. Okay, and it also gives example of the areas in determining what are the key audit matters, like areas of a higher assessed risk of material misstatement or significant risk, as discussed in SA 315. Say, while conducting the audit, the auditor has assessed high risk of material misstatement in some of the areas. Okay, as per SA 315. So he can highlight some of the matter in. No, Surbi, if it is, it depends again on your professional judgment. Now, whether it is a matter of routine, like you take the example of IT infrastructure in the company. Now the the accounting information of the company is dependent upon IT infrastructure. So the auditor has to ensure that IT infrastructure is itself reliable. So what procedures were performed by the auditor? Now the auditor it is his professional judgment. He might consider it as key audit matter or he might not consider it. It is his professional judgment. Okay. Areas involving accounting estimates or management, judgments of the management, where there is a possibility of mistakes. Say, like if the company has acquired some another company. Okay. Or in areas of valuation, the auditor can highlight the effect on audit of significant events or transactions that occurred during the period. Some again, like acquisitions, the company has acquired some company and which is quite a large company and its effect is significant. So such matters can be highlighted as key audit matters. Okay, communicating key audit matters. So again, these are communication again in a separate para. These are highlighted again by the auditor under a subheading in the auditor's report, separate subheading, like we had discussed in case of emphasis of matter para and other matter para. Similarly, here he would give a subheading key audit matters, and he shall state first he shall state what is the meaning of key audit matters. What does he mean by key audit matters? Key audit matters are those matters which in professional judgment of auditor were most significant in audit of financial statements of the current period. That is very important. Okay. And these matters were addressed in the context of audit of financial statements as a whole. And look, the auditor is not giving separate opinion in respect of these key audit matters. He is just highlighting, and these matters were addressed in the context of financial statements as a whole. Okay, so this is how he has to communicate key audit matters. Okay, guys. So at this stage, we will take a short break of 10 minutes, and the VCC would resume after 10 minutes. So break of 10 minutes. Okay. So we are taking a break. Hello. Break. 10 minutes. Ask. Yes, welcome back, guys. So, we were understanding key audit matters. Now, guys, you have also to understand that communicating key audit matters is not a substitute for these four things. It is very important. Say, communicating key audit matters is not a substitute for disclosures which are required to be made by the management in accordance with applicable FRF, in accordance with applicable financial reporting framework. Okay, it is not a substitute for disclosure in the financial statements which FRF requires management to make, or which is required to achieve fair representation. Okay. So merely because the auditor has highlighted some matter as a key audit matter, the management cannot get away with that. It is not absolved from its responsibility of preparing financial statements in accordance with applicable financial reporting framework. If applicable financial reporting framework requires management to disclose something, then the management, those people charged with governance, they have to report these things in financial statements. Reporting, communicating the same as a key audit matter is not a substitute for the same. Okay. Second thing is, again, the same modification of opinion. Say if on some matter modification of opinion is required, okay, then the auditor has to make a modification. He cannot just get away by stating it in accordance with SA 701 as a key audit matter. Okay. And when there is a material uncertainty relating to the events which cast significant doubt on the ability of the concern to continue its operation or to continue as a going concern, then it has to be reported separately as per SA 570, highlighting here this thing as a key audit matter is not sufficient. It is not a substitute. Okay. And it is also not a separate opinion on individual matters. Folks, you have always to understand that when the auditors give certain highlights, key audit matters, then he is highlighting these key audit matters in the context of whole financial statements. He is not giving a separate opinion in respect of every key audit matter which has been highlighted by him. These have been addressed by him in the context of whole financial statements. Okay. So is that clear to you? Is that clear to you guys? So we have to understand, we have to remember these 4 points, that communicating key audit matters is not a substitute for the management to make adequate disclosures as are required in accordance with applicable financial reporting framework. Number 1. Number 2, when a modification of opinion is required, thus opinion has to be modified in accordance with SA 705. The auditor cannot get away by simply highlighting this matter as a CAM, key audit matter. Number 3, when there is a significant doubt on the ability of the concern to continue as a going concern, there are material uncertainty about it, whether the concern would continue as a going concern or not, then it has to be dealt with separately as required as per SA 570. The auditor cannot get away simply by highlighting it as a key audit matter, and you have also to understand that communicating key audit matter is not a separate opinion on individual matters. The auditor highlights key audit matters in the context of financial statements as a whole. He is not giving here his individual opinion on all those highlighted matters. Okay. And next thing is communication with those charged with governance. Now, if the auditor highlights some matters as key audit matters, then the auditor shall communicate with those charged with the governance that these are the matters the auditors think have determined to be key audit matters, and if applicable, depending on the facts and circumstances of the entity and the audit. And if there are no key audit matters to be stated in the report, the auditors would communicate. So again, this table gives you example. You might have done it yesterday. SA 700, it deals with what is to be stated in audit report, form and content of audit report. This we would be doing in our lecture, in our class on day after tomorrow. And SA 705, modification of opinion, this we have already done yesterday and today also. And SA 706, SA 701, communicating key audit matters, this we have done recently, just recently. And SA 706 relates to emphasis of matter paragraph and other matter paragraph, how these are to be communicated, what are the auditor's responsibility in this regard. Okay. So again, we shall be refreshing ourselves with the concept of emphasis of matter paragraph, other matter paragraph, and key audit matters. So again, guys, emphasis of matter paragraph are those matters which are already presented and disclosed in financial statements. These are already there, but the auditor still wants to highlight them. So these matters are separately shown in the subheading emphasis of matter paragraph. And in other matter paragraph, there are matters which are not present in the financial statements or disclosed in the financial statements, but the auditor of the company, he still wants to draw attention of users of financial statements to those matters. These may relate to audit or nature of auditor's responsibility or audit report. So these matters are communicated through the medium of audit report in other matter paragraphs. Okay, and key audit matters, CAM, are those matters which in the professional judgment of the auditor were most significant during the audit of current period and current period of financial statements, and these are selected from matters from those matters which have been communicated with those charged with governance. Okay. So key audit matters are generally selected from the areas where there is a higher assessed risk of material misstatement, or in the areas from the areas where management has made significant accounting estimates or judgment, or there might be some significant or important transactions happened during the year which were of very significant in nature, and these might have impacted the profitability or state of affairs of the company. So SA 701 states that key audit matters uh, are generally highlighted from these areas, and these are communicated through audit report in the separate subheading under key audit matters. So the essential conditions in CAM is that these matters must be communicated with those charged with the governance. Okay, the people with whom the auditor is interacting, with whom he is seeking the information, and by seeking the information, he is modifying his audit procedures. By seeking those information, he is performing his audit procedures. So it is only from those matters that key audit matters are selected. Okay. So guys, is these three things clear to you? Emphasis of matter, other matter, para, and key audit matters. So now we will be taking some questions. Are you ready for it? Are you ready for some questions, guys? Please let me know. Are you ready? So I am showing the screen to you. नहीं शेयर कर रहा हूँ. Okay. Yes. Now, guys, this is the first question. Now let us see how you have understood. First question is emphasis of matter paragraph in auditor's report may be given in respect of matter determined as key audit matter. Now tell me whether this statement is correct or incorrect, guys. Waiting for your answers. Very simple. Emphasis of matter paragraph in auditor's report may be given in respect of matter determined as key audit matter. Now the question says that if say some matter has been identified by the auditor as key audit matter, so can it be also shown as emphasis of matter paragraph? Tell me. Tell me, guys, whether this statement is correct or incorrect. No answers till now whether this statement is correct or incorrect. Emphasis of matter paragraph in auditor's report may be given in respect of matter determined as key audit matter. Yes, few males only, 3-4 males. Harsh Goyal, Pooja, Ankita, Ayushi, Sandeep Sandhu. Yes, guys, come on. Very simple. Emphasis of matter paragraph in auditor's report may be given in respect of matter determined as key audit matter. Just 5 males till now, guys. Are you just 5 people watching? Please drop your mails, guys. Waiting for your response. Yes. Now, most of you have answered the question correctly. This statement is what it is. This is incorrect. This is incorrect. So you would be remembering when SA 701 applies, when a matter is identified as key audit matter, then the same cannot be reported in emphasis of matter paragraph. Okay. Now, question number 2. What is 2? Key audit matters in independent auditor's report are selected from matters communicated with those charged with governance. Now, this also relates to the essential condition, essential ingredient of what constitute as key audit matters. We have done it number of times. So whether this statement is correct or incorrect, whether this statement is correct or incorrect. Surbi, which question you did not understand? You are saying you did not understand the question. Please let me know which question, right question number. Which question you did not understand, Surbi? It's that emphasis of matter paragraph in auditor's report may be given in respect of matter determined as key audit matter. It states that some issue has been identified, some matter has been identified as key audit matter. So can it be given in emphasis of matter paragraph also the same thing? No, because the essential condition in emphasis of matter paragraph under SA 70 under SA 706 says that where SA 701 applies, if the matter is identified as key audit matter, this matter shall not be described as emphasis of matter paragraph. So by now you understand, Surbi, what was the question? Now you are able to understand. Now we come to question number 2. Now, key audit matters in independent auditor's report are selected from matters communicated with those charged with governance. Now, whether this statement is correct or incorrect. Now, whether this statement is correct or incorrect. Now, many of you are writing it, answering it correctly. This statement is correct. While understanding key audit matters, as per SA 701, we had learned that key audit matters are always selected from those matters which have been communicated with those charged with the governance. Communication is necessary. The auditor had identified certain issues. He communicated with the management. Management replied, and the auditor performed his audit procedures in light of the information given by the management. So this is a necessary condition for a matter to be classified as key audit matter. So this statement was correct. So 1 or 2 of you have written it is incorrect, but that is not the case. Now number 3. We come to question number 3. What is question number 3? It states that key audit matters are a substitute for the auditor expressing a modified opinion. Now tell me whether this statement is correct or incorrect. Whether key audit matters are a substitute for the auditor expressing a modified opinion. Say there is some issue, the auditor has to express his modified opinion due to material misstatements, then whether he can get away with highlighting this matter in key audit matters only, whether it is possible. Tell me whether this statement is correct or incorrect. Only Prema Joy has answered till now. And few more mails. Still waiting for other mail. Guys, send it quickly. Send the mails quickly, guys. Whether this statement is correct or incorrect. Key audit matters are a substitute for the auditor expressing a modified opinion. Now this statement is also what it is. It is incorrect. Key audit matters are not a substitute. Here, there should be not. These are not a substitute for the auditor expressing a modified opinion. When as per SA 705, the auditor has to modify his opinion, then he has to modify his opinion. There is no option available with him. He cannot simply shirk his responsibility by highlighting it as a key audit matter. He cannot say, "भाई मैंने तो key audit matter में दे दिया था." But in case if the circumstances are such that he has to modify his opinion, then definitely he should modify his opinion. Okay, so these are not a substitute. So this statement is incorrect. Key audit matters are a substitute for modification of auditor's opinion. This is incorrect. So most of you are answering it correctly. Ayushi, Surbi, Khushi, Tanu, Preksha, Ankita, Rupesh, all of you have stated it correctly that this statement is incorrect. Okay. Now we come to question number 4. What is 4? Yes. Key audit matters are determined from significant matters of current as well as unresolved matters of past periods. Whether this statement is correct or incorrect. Whether this statement is correct or incorrect. Tell me. Key audit matters. Whether key audit matters are selected from the statements of current period and also of the past periods. Tell me whether this statement is correct or incorrect. Yes, no mail till now. Question number 4. Key audit matters are selected from significant matters of current period, current financial statements, or of the past periods also. No mails till now. Question number 4. Yes, few mails have come. Yes, key audit matters are determined from significant matters of current period only. Significant matters of current period only. So this statement is also incorrect. Past financial statements have nothing to do with key audit matters. Question number 5. Matters in other matter paragraph in auditor's report are already presented or disclosed in financial statements. Now tell me whether this statement is correct or incorrect. The statement says that matters, that issues in other matter paragraph are already reported or disclosed in financial statements, and auditor draws users' attention to it. Whether this statement is correct or incorrect. Tell me, guys. Matters in other matter paragraph in auditor report are already presented or disclosed in financial statements, and auditor draws users' attention to it. Whether this statement is correct or incorrect. Only 3-4 mails. Just 4-5 mails. Sandeep, Sandhu, Ankita, Pooja, Tanu, Ayushi, Surbhi. What about others? What about others, guys? Or many of you have left. You have found the class too boring. Is the class boring, guys? Look, I have tried to make the class interesting, keeping in view the contents of the topic. But I cannot change the contents. Have you found it boring, class? Please let me know. Question number 5. Matters in other matter paragraph in auditor's report are already presented or disclosed in financial statements, and auditor draws user attention to it. Now this statement is also incorrect. Why? Because matters in other matter paragraph in auditor's reports are those matters which are not presented. Only matters in emphasis of matter paragraph are matters which are presented or disclosed in financial statements. Okay. This is incorrect. Now question number 6. Now what is question number 6? Modified opinion is always qualified opinion. Tell me whether this statement is correct or incorrect. Modified opinion is always qualified opinion. It states that when opinion is modified, it is always qualified. Whether this statement is correct or incorrect. When opinion is modified, it is always qualified. Meaning is this: when opinion is modified, it is always qualified. Whether this statement is correct or incorrect. Yes, many of you have answered it correctly. I think most of you, not many. So, modified opinion, this is also an incorrect statement. Modified opinion is not always qualified opinion, because we know that modified opinion is of three types, that is qualified, adverse and disclaimer. So it is not that it is always qualified. It can be sometimes qualified, it can be sometimes adverse, it can be sometimes disclaimer. So to say so that it is always qualified, it is a wrong statement. It is an incorrect statement. Okay. Now we come to question number 7. Now Ayushi is asking, sir, question number 5 answer should be correct. This is a correct statement, because in the study material in your module it is written that auditor draws users' attention to it. Surbi, you have just read from the one part of the study material. You have to read the statement in totality, in complete manner. What does the statement say? Matters in other matter paragraph in auditor's report are already presented or disclosed. Now this part is wrong. Are already presented or disclosed in financial statements. This part is wrong. The auditor definitely draws users' attention to it, but these matters are not presented or disclosed in financial statements. You just see the definition of other matter paragraph. In the very beginning, it is stated that these are those matters which are not there, which are other than presented or disclosed in financial statements. The wording is other than. Other than means which is not present or disclosed in financial statements. Okay, Surbi. Oh, sorry, Ayushi. I am taking the wrong name. So Ayushi, is it clear to you? Is it clear to you? Question number 5, the statement is, the answer is incorrect. It is an incorrect statement. It is not a correct statement. Have you understood it? Have you understood it? Now we go to question number 7. Now question number 7 is this. Matters described in other matter paragraph in auditor's report may be relevant to users' understanding of audit. Now, whether this statement is correct or incorrect, tell me. Whether this statement is correct or incorrect. Question number 7. Matters only, I think Preksha has sent mail, and Pooja. Pooja has also sent. Matters described in other matter paragraph in auditor's report may be relevant to users' understanding of audit. Say the question, the statement says that if some matters has been described in other matter paragraph, then it may be relevant to users' understanding of audit, that it may help him in better understanding the audit, that it may throw light on some information which would help the users in better understanding the audit. So is this statement correct or incorrect? Yes, few mails have come. Nitin, Surbhi, Ayushi, Ankita, Harsh, Khushi, Prema, and Prema already sent. Sandeep, Sandhu. Now, this statement is, the answer is, this statement is correct. How it is correct? So again guys, again you go to the basic definition of other matter paragraph, what is stated in essay 706. Now it states, number one condition is that those matters should not be disclosed or presented in financial statements. And in the second point, it states that it may be relevant to, it can be relevance to users' understanding of audit or nature of auditor's responsibility or audit report. So the statement says that it may be relevant to users. One of the three conditions might be satisfied. One of the three points which the essay 706 is stating, these may be relevant because there are two other things described there also. Okay, so all matters described in other matter paragraph may not help in understanding the audit. They may help in understanding nature of auditor's responsibility or understanding audit report better, but they may help in understanding audit better. Okay, so this statement is correct. I think Surbhi, I have cleared your doubt also regarding what is the meaning of may be in statement number 7. Okay. Okay, so how did you find the questions and this question answer session, guys? Now we would also be doing some back exercises from your module of this chapter. Some relevant questions from topics which we have done. So I would request you guys to open your module if you are having. If you are having the modules handy with you, you can open those modules. Yes. Now you can do this. Question number 1. Correct, incorrect. The auditor shall express a qualified opinion. It states that auditor shall express a qualified opinion. So you have to carefully see whether a word modified is written or qualified is written, because these are two different things. The auditor shall express a qualified opinion when the auditor concludes that financial statements are prepared in all material respects in accordance with the applicable FRS. So what would the auditor do? Whether he would express a qualified opinion or not in such a case, tell me. When he finds that financial statements are prepared in accordance with the applicable FRF, then what kind of opinion he would state? Guys, do not see the answers. Do not see the answers. Nobody is giving is going to give you credit. Do not see the answer. Just solve from your own mind, from your own knowledge. Yes, this statement is also incorrect because here the auditor finds that all the that the financial statements are prepared in all material respects with in accordance with FRF. Then he will express what kind of opinion. He would give an unmodified opinion. Whereas as here it is written qualified opinion, which is a type of what? Modified opinion. So this statement is incorrect. Now we will go to question number 3. Now what is question number 3? The auditor shall modify the opinion in the auditor's report only when the auditor concludes that based on audit evidence obtained, the financial statements as a whole are not free from material misstatements. Guys, do not see the answer. Just tell me whether this is correct or incorrect. Do not see the answers. It is for your own benefit. Whether this statement is correct or incorrect. The auditor shall modify the opinion in the auditor's report only when the auditor concludes. Remember to read the statement carefully, guys. Remember to read the statement carefully. Read between the lines. Read between the lines. So, guys, while studying modification of opinion, we had learned that there are two conditions attributable to the situation where the auditor has to modify his opinion. One is that he concludes on the basis of audit evidence that there is material misstatement in the financial statements, that financial statements are not free as a whole from material misstatements. And number two condition is where he has been unable to obtain audit evidence and he thinks that that effect of uncorrected material misstatements might be material. In that case also he has to modify his opinion. So this word only is distorting the whole statement. So this is incorrect. This word only is distorting the whole statement. Okay. And now we will you can do question number 5. Communicating key audit matters in auditor report constitutes a substitute for disclosure in financial statements. Very easy one. Communicating key audit matters in auditor's report constitutes a substitute for disclosure in financial statements. Whether management gets relieved from its responsibility, the answer is no. It is not a substitute. So this statement is also incorrect. This statement is also incorrect. So this statement is also incorrect. Communicating key audit matter in the audit report constitutes a substitute for disclosure in the financial statements. It is not a substitute. It does not relieve the management of its responsibility. Okay. And you can also do question number 4. This one. The auditor shall express a disclaimer of opinion when the auditor, having obtained sufficient appropriate audit evidence, concludes that misstatements are both material and pervasive. Now, when does an auditor express disclaimer? Just go to the basic definition. So, guys, all questions mostly hit your fundamentals. All questions in the examination also hit your fundamentals, hit your basic points. So if you are clear about your fundas, you can draw your inferences from those fundas. Okay. What is the answer to question number 4? Yes, it is incorrect because disclaimer of opinion is given when the auditor is unable to obtain audit evidence. Here, in such a cases, when auditor has obtained sufficient audit evidence and there are and misstatements in financial statements are both material and pervasive, what kind of opinion he has to be given? He has to give adverse opinion. Disclaimer is given when the auditor is unable to obtain audit evidence and if its possible effects of uncorrected misstatements are material but not pervasive, then he will give qualified opinion. But if these are both material and pervasive, then he would give uh, then he would give disclaimer. Okay. Okay, guys. So it is clear to you. It is clear to you, guys. So guys, today we have done very important subtopics in this chapter, and we would be doing content of audit report, how the audit report is structured, what are the contents of audit report, and more particularly in case of a company, you have already read different matters which are to be specifically reported in the case of a company. You have already read it in chapter 10 on company audit. So we will be studying those matters specifically in the context of this chapter, in the context of audit report. What are the matters to be reported, and in fairly detailed manner. What is the structure of audit report? We shall also be uh, learning from a practical audit report. How does an audit report look like, and what are the matters to be reported? So it is for today. It is so much. I think you have shown patience and try to bear with me in this lecture. Okay, so guys, okay, see you day after tomorrow. Good night to all of you. Thank you so much, guys. Okay. Okay. Hello. 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 हेलो हेलो राम राम हाँ हाँ बंद ओके क्लोज हाँ सेशन ओवर ओके